Hello and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and we are back with another arrowhead-like pattern. I don't remember what the pattern number was. Maybe I can put this in post when I get to the video. But this one was not easy to get used to. At least starting it off, right? It's felt kind of hit or miss. Once I kind of got past the beginning part, I started to get the whole comes in 3, out 1, comes in 3, out 1. So that part kind of made sense. And once it really kind of got going, it was okay. And then I don't know if you remember from when we were doing the pattern, but I started at the very top and I worked my way and I just let the middle do whatever the middle was going to do. And that might have not been the smartest choice because it made for a way more difficult, I suspect, middle. In fact, I kind of was contemplating whether or not I was actually going to have to mark off boxes as I went, but I just trusted in the procedure, looking at the pattern. Okay, this is supposed to do something, whatever. And then it just kind of all worked. And that kind of made me happy that we didn't have to go to extreme lengths to finish it. So I'm going to say that this is more of an intermediate than a super difficult, but it definitely has a lot of zigzags in there, and there's a lot of trying to work it out to get it to hold in tightly. Now, one of the things I did to help make it come in tightly was there were opportunities where the white string could just come in straight and didn't have to zigzag for its part of the bracelet. In order to do this, it was like there are two white strings coming together, and instead of choosing the one to zigzag, choose the one to go straight. And that kind of helped pull things in just a bit tighter in places. I think it really helped the pattern out a lot. That said, it also turned out this is one of the closest I've had where all the strings at the end of the bracelet were all the same length, which I thought was pretty amazing. Like, even with doing the little trick with the white strings, they still came out all very, very balanced. And I didn't really expect that. It kind of comes down to how the lighter colors get used a little bit in the beginning and then at the middle. And like how the darkest one, that one basically goes really hard right in the middle, but is hardly ever used anywhere else in the whole bracelet. I think that's what kind of helped balance it all, but you'll have to try for yourself, see how it works. It's pretty cool. It is pretty neat. Also, speaking of, when we were doing the colors on the pattern, I kind of left it like rainbowy, fully knowing that I was going to go with the shades of blue that I used. But I did it with the rainbows so that way I could kind of pick which color I wanted to have where and how I wanted it to mesh up. So what I ended up going with was from dark down to the lightest color, and then that meant that the darkest one would then dominate in the center, and the second darkest one would be in the center along with it off to the side, and then the third one would be just a little bit on the edge. And yes, I thought this through. Yes, I thought it would be interesting, but I think I underestimated how cool it would look. So when you get to the reveal, you tell me what you think, because the ends of the bracelet have kind of a mid level of darkness to it, fading into a very, very light color, and with all of the white, that definitely helps make it a very, very light bracelet until this dark string comes in and goes to the middle, and it goes all the way to the middle. You know, it goes down to the single dot and then comes out the other side, going the opposite direction. I really think it came out better than I anticipated. So yeah, I think that's pretty neat. And you can see how much contrast there is between the light color and this darkest one. And I don't think it's not exactly white. It's as light of a blue as you can get before actually being white. So it kind of helps add to the whole, you know, look of this bracelet itself. So I thought it would be kind of fun, and I really do like it, despite the fact that making it was like, there were moments where I was just like, I am not sure if I'm ready for this. Again, because of the way that it's zigzags a lot, and there's like really no way of doing much of a segment knotting for it. It's sort of just bringing rows in like a chevron, but each of the rows coming in is very zigzagged. The part where it does get a little bit more segmented is in the actual middle part itself. I ended up kind of concentrating on one side to bring it around, so that way the direction of the arrows would be going the other way. So you'll kind of see that we're real close to that right now. In fact, it is, because the single blue dot is already in there. So now it's about trying to flip the whole thing around to go the other direction. And like I said, I had to just trust the process. Just watch the pattern, trust the process, believe in it, and it worked. It worked out really, really well. In fact, there's like, sometimes when you change the direction, the angle of how things are going gets a little bit askew. This one turned out really good. This one, you know, it looks very mirrored. It's very, very well good. I can't explain why it turned out as well as it did. I guess maybe getting used to it a bit. I don't know. Maybe it's the pattern. Maybe this pattern just lends itself well to this kind of zigzagging stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just really happy with the way it turned out. Hang on. I almost forgot to thank my YouTube members for making all of this possible. We are obviously past the middle point. These videos end somewhat abruptly. I do need to thank them all very much for their support. I really want to leave a legacy of bracelet making behind, and that to teach everything that I can. And for that, I'm actually learning more things, trying new patterns, trying new stuff, so that way there can be more content and more things to pass along to you guys. Like doing this design, definitely out of my comfort zone. Definitely doesn't have to be something I make for the shop or anything. It's about trying something new and then getting it out to you guys, so that way if you see something that you like, you can pretty much be aware of what's gonna go into making it. And that way, if you're thinking, oh gosh, it sounds like this one was a challenge, well, yes, it really was. But if you're thinking, hey, I'm pretty good at bracelet making, I'm up for a challenge, then maybe this whole video will encourage you to give something a try that perhaps you might not have tried before, you know, for whatever reasons. And that's my goal, is to help, you know, either steer you from doing a project that's way too complicated and that's going to come out a mess and discourage you, or encourage you to try something new and different. You know, that's the whole point of this channel, is to kind of help people along, because I don't want people to look at this and think, oh, it's an arrowhead, I can do that, and then it turns out like slop because it is complex, and then, you know, never want to pick up the string again, because that's no good. Nobody wants that, right? So yeah, hopefully my words motivate people and get people excited about making stuff. I also understand there's a fair number of people who put on my videos, like turn on the playlist and just have me going in the background while they make stuff, which I'm cool with that. That's fine. If listening to me talking about knots while you are busy tying knots, if that's something you're into, cool. Leave me a comment. Let me know that that's what you're doing. I think that's pretty neat as well. So yeah, so now the lightest blue is working its way out, and it's not very far after the lightest blue gets all the way out to the edge that I have to start considering what happens to the end of the bracelet. Now at this point of making it, I pretty much had it figured out, like the, you know, 1 out 3 this way, 1 out 3, getting the centers down pretty well, not having to look at the pattern all the time. But once that light blue gets finished, then I started having to kind of keep an eye on it, because I didn't want to overshoot the end of the bracelet, so that it would, if I did, it wouldn't be symmetrical, and that would be a kind of a disappointing letdown, and yeah, I didn't want that. So you'll kind of see here the second blue, it comes out to the edge, and then that's kind of when it starts to drop strings. And yeah, and I kind of liked how that turned out. Like, that made it a little bit easier. So like how I started the whole bracelet might have had made it easier for how I ended it. But yeah, it wasn't foresight. It was just kind of worked out nicely that way. So every once in a while you get lucky, things work out nice. Yeah, you can see, so like that secondary blue is kind of stopping, and you can see like the strings going off to the side because I'm done with them. So yeah, if you're interested in making this, the pattern's available over my website. If you have questions and stuff, you can leave it in the comments, or you can join the Discord, and that way you can like share pictures and ask how to do stuff. And yeah, that'd be awesome. Oh, and hit the like button. And as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.